Go to Mr. John Bufton, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Hahn. I would like to start off by making a comment that you started off with as well, when you mentioned that some people in this room perhaps are sceptical. I indeed, sir, am one of those people. The United Kingdom, in my view, need a referendum on its relationship with the EU, and when that vote does come out of this place, and we can decide our own policies. However, whilst we are here, it is my view that regions like my own of Wales that have had funding in this period of the last 7 years, which will come to an end in 2013, it is up to me to fight for the corner for us to get what rightfully is our money. It is our money that comes into the EU. The EU has no money, it's our money in the first place, and we've just taken it back. I would like to ask you, sir, a couple of points that do concern me. Come the 2013 end period, what guarantees can you give me that countries like Wales will receive a decent transitional settlement that will then make the period thereafter much easier for Wales itself? My concern is that as the EU grows and enlarges with new countries, like, for example, Croatia joining, perhaps Iceland, and who knows, Turkey in time, the countries that are joining are poorer countries. Wales then, I'm afraid, will lose out. But it isn't the case that Wales is purely because these other countries are coming in. Now, my fear is that we will lose out on important funding. Unemployment in my region, like many others, is rising. So I think it's important that we get that right. Can you please give me an assurance on this?
Mr. Bufton, habe ich schon...
Mr. Bufton, well, I did make it clear earlier that I do see an absolute need, as is the case at present, that in the future we cater for regions which, thank the Lord, because of the success of regional policy activities, have now improved in their status, but not have yet reached the point where they can be regarded as the traditional normal countries, as it were, and they will continue to need transitional arrangements. And certainly we will plan for this for the next programming period. But as I've said, from the point of view that we'll be seeking simplification, I think we should simplify things together. We have to recognize the fact that there are regions which fall within certain categories, but since they've never been as poorly off as others so far, find themselves in a transitional situation, arrangements should be found for them, but that will all have to be studied in detail, and I'm ready to do that. Wales, I think, in the past has certainly benefited, and I'll be quite frank with you, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities of meeting each other. Wales has benefited from being a member of the European Union. And Mr. Bufton, 5 years from now, perhaps you too will become a convinced European when you've seen what possibilities are on offer for Wales thanks to being a member of the European Union. I'm ready to work for that, and perhaps we'll be successful in that specific endeavour, and I'd be happy.
If I can just respond, Mr. Hahn, thank you for your comments, but I think the clear message is in the detail, and there was not much detail there. I'll be working closely with you to make certain that we do get a decent settlement, because countries like Wales, as I said before, it is our money. People think that it's all EU money. The flags go up, and hurrah, but it is our money to start with. The EU has no money. Thank you.
Also ich denke, alle...
Well, I know we have different opinions on this, and that's fine too. And, you know, as I've said, diversity in Europe is a great thing. I'm convinced that we will manage to find together appropriate added value, as we have done indeed in the past, and will continue to find in the future. We will get to talking about the details, and I'm sure Wales will benefit from that, and we can work together to that end.
The European Court of Auditors have recently stated that Spain, Italy and Portugal are responsible for the bulk of the financial errors in the field of regional policy, where some €2.7 billion should not have been paid out in 2008. At the beginning of this afternoon's proceedings, sir, you did state that you would, I quote, use all the tools in the box to deal with such errors. Can you please tell me what tools you would use against these 3 countries?
Also ich werde mir die Dinge ehrlich gesagt
First, quite honestly, I need to look into the detail. Today is neither the time nor the place for me to make any statement because I don't have the necessary documentary material. I know that DG Regio has been in contact with the countries you mention, and it's important to draw a distinction between the errors that crop up and are corrected, and in the last few years we have seen a significant increase in corrective action taking place. If the figure I have in my mind is right, in 2008 and 2009 it was 2.5 billion euro that was subject to correction, that was recovered, and that is a major step forward in comparison with the past. But to come back to where I was before, the objective of regional policy is not for me to be able to say at the end of the programming period that I've saved X billion euro and not spent it. Our common objective must be to ensure that the funding is spent in the regions pursuant to the rules, subject to the restrictions of the programme. It would be wrong for us to see regional policy as having the objective of there being an awful lot of money left in the pot. That's not the objective. The objective is that the money reaches the citizens' communities and that the money is spent properly, because the citizens are also taxpayers. And I gave you the figure. I think significant progress has been made, and to be honest with you, I don't think this is the time for me to name or shame any particular countries.
Well, thank you for the answer. But I would just like to say they are huge amounts of money. 2.8 billion euros is not a drop in the ocean. It's a huge amount of money. And I'll be looking to you, sir, as if you are the new commissioner, that this needs to be addressed over the coming years. Thank you.